Pariprajacharya Stotra Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Sridharidas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Maybe I'll start with a little introduction because we have a group here in Alachua at the home of Panchatattva Prabhu. First, thanks to Acharya Prabhu for leading wonderful kirtan. We have this program on Zoom which has been going on since several years, reading Srimad Bhagavatam 3 times a week in the evenings at this time. So we're putting together a gathering here and a Zoom gathering there. And our rules are that we read and we discuss, and anyone's free to raise a question or a thought at any time, whether you're online or you're in person. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, and our exact place, if I'm not wrong, is 4.2.20.
Yes, sir.
We're reading about the Daksha Yagya, which involved cursing and counter-cursing from the days before we had an internet and social media to help us. The Daksha has cursed Lord Shiva, and the Nandishwara, the principal follower of Lord Shiva, has similarly cursed Daksha and the Brahmins, and that's where we are in the narrative. So, Mahesh Pandit Prabhu, you can take us from there.
Thank you, Maharaj. Welcome everybody to Zoom program with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. Thank you, Maharaj, for coming. We start from text number 20, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 2, Daksha curses Lord Shiva. Text 20. Vignaya Shapam Girishanugragra Gagrahini Nandeshwaro Roshaka Shadushitaha Dakshaya Shapam Visasarjam Darunam Ye Chanva Modam Tad Avachyam Dvijaha. Translation. Upon understanding that Lord Shiva had been cursed, Nandishwar, one of Lord Shiva's principal associates, became greatly angry. His eyes became red, and he prepared to curse Daksh and all the Brahmanas present there, who had tolerated Daksha's cursing Shiva in harsh words. Purport. There is a long-standing dissension among some of the neophyte Vaishnava and Shaivites. They are always at loggerhead. When Daksha cursed Lord Shiva in harsh words, some of the Brahmanas present might have enjoyed it because some Brahmanas do not very much admire Lord Shiva. This is due to their ignorance of Lord Shiva's position. Nandishwar was affected by the cursing but did not follow the example of Lord Shiva, who was also present there. Although Lord Shiva could also have cursed Daksha in a similar way, he was silent and tolerant. But Nandishwar, his follower, was not tolerant. Of course, as a follower, it was right for him not to tolerate an insult to his master, but he should not have cursed the Brahmanas who were present. The entire issue was so complicated that those who were not strong enough forget their positions, and thus cursing and counter-cursing went on in that great assembly. In other words, the material field is so unsteady that even personalities like Nandeshwar, Daksha, and many of the Brahmanas present were infected by the atmosphere of anger.
Thank you.
Maharaj, you can take it over now. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I'll take over. Thank you. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Shapadantikam Pandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahagana Raganatam Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Koruna Sindho Deenavandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prashabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Horipriye Vanchakol Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. The Vigyaya Shapam Girishanu Gagranir Nandishiro Roshakashaya Dushita Dakshaya Shapam Visasarja Dharanam Ye Chandramodamsta Tadavachatam Tijaha. The anger is taking over. Kama Krodha Tata Lobhas Tasmari Tatrayam Chajet in the Bhagavad Gita. Anger is so infectious, so contaminating, that it's compared to, it's said to be a gate to hell. Kama, Krodha, Tata, Lobhas, anger, greed, and lust. Therefore, one should give these three up, Krishna says. Tasmade tatrayam tyajet. And here we see what's happening, that one side becomes angry, the other side becomes angry. I curse you, you curse me. And in this way we see the entire sacrificial performance is spoiled. Everyone forgets everything and becomes embroiled in an angry dispute. Tadavachatam tuja. The Nandishwar was ready to curse, or is about to curse, both Daksha and the Brahmins. Why the Brahmins? Avachatam. Oh yeah, if you can do a cell phone check. Those who have cell phones with them. Avachatam. When Daksha was cursing Lord Shiva, they didn't say anything. They didn't object, they didn't protest. Maybe they were a little happy even. Prabhupada gives that suggestion. The neophyte devotees of Lord Shiva, or the neophyte devotees of Lord Vishnu, may think in terms of sectarian rivalries, our God is better than your God, and so on. The advanced devotees see that there's no difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava, and even Lord Vishnu puts him practically on the level with himself. So the advanced devotees don't get all riled up on these petty grounds, but the neophytes are always looking for something to be angry about. They're not happy unless there's something to be angry over, something to be protesting, something to be righteous about. So they're the neophytes. So that criticism is made of Akshatam. Actually, in Nectar Devotion, it said that one shouldn't stay in a place where one has to hear blasphemy of the Lord or blasphemy of Vaishnava. One should cut out the offender's tongue, or one should defeat him, or one should finally, all right, just get up and leave. Otherwise, one loses one's spiritual credit, spiritual everything. So Daksha will be cursed, and Avakshatam, those who didn't say anything and thereby implicitly sided with Daksha. Any comments, questions? Yes, Panchatattva Prabhu.
My wife carried home to me this comment from Mother Prashanta at VIHE. Neophyte means new fight every day.
Neophyte means new fight. Yes, thank you. Yes.
So, I mean, Nandishwar was angry because the Brahmanas were tolerant when Daksha was cursing. So if we happen to have the misfortune of being somewhere where, someone is blaspheming devotees, then shouldn't we speak up and say something?
We should. If devotees or the Lord are being bad-mouthed, then it's our duty to say something. Ideally, we should say something so strong that we defeat them. And if we can't, then we should leave, not sit and tolerantly hear, well, anyway, everyone has an opinion. We shouldn't hear it. We hear that, was it Gopal Bhatta Goswami, I think? He just wouldn't listen to any blasphemy of Vaishnavas. He would say, all the devotees are engaged in the service of the Lord, but he just wouldn't hear it. So one should be very careful, and very careful. Even subtle criticism of the Vaishnava can be quite toxic. Quite toxic. I remember there was some incident in Mayapur, it's well known. An incident. And devotees went to some other temple where there was speaking that Prabhupada considered subtly critical of the devotees and of himself. And he said that those who'd attended had all been scarred by hearing. We should be very cautious. It's Vaishnava aparad is the worst. It's the worst. Yes, that's right.
That on the other side, when we do that, we can also get implicated.
Also get?
implicated in doing the right thing, but maybe in the wrong way.
We can also become implicated if we speak up in doing the right thing in the wrong way. That's better than doing the wrong thing the right way. If we don't feel that we're able to speak up, then leave. If we're strong, we can speak up. And if we're somehow not able or not in a position to speak up, then better just to go.
And then also consideration, do we really respond to every dog that is barking? Any instigation?
Do we respond to every dog that's barking? Well, on the internet, you know,
Oh, God.
because of different time zones, the dogs bark 24 hours on the internet. And there the best policy may be to leave. The internet is such a place that, Hare Krishna. So leaving is not a bad policy. Trying to argue with people on the internet, Hare Krishna.
There's this example of Jiva Goswami also.
Yeah,
Digvijay Pandit.
Jiva Goswami, who defeated the big pundit who got the paper signed by Rupa Goswami. Yes, you've defeated me. So that's and again, Jiva Goswami was excluded for some time. That no, you become proud. You're arguing like that, and then finally he was admitted back. So from that point of view, it's also a lesson to us to be careful about showing our stuff. And that's really what's going to happen in this yajna. Nandishwar Prabhupada says not wrong, because when the master is criticized, the servant has to speak out. But still therefore Prabhupada said so complicated, because to get angry and to curse and counter curse is not good, but to hear and tolerate, that's not good. But this is how it gets when there's anger and offensiveness. Things just get worse and worse. Therefore in Bhagavatam, Vetatam Somya Tat Sarvam Tattvatas Tadanugraha Bruyu Snigtasya Shishyasya Guruve Gurumapyuta. The Naimisharanya sages honored Sutta Goswami by saying you're such a gentle and humble disciple that your gurus have given you all their blessings. So that snigta means very gentle and what's the word? Submissive, affectionate. So that's the mood of a Vaishnava. Vaishnavas are humble. Vaishnavas offer all respect. Vaishnavas are a dosha darshi. They don't like finding faults with others. They rather they like to glorify the devotees. So that's culture also. We were talking about that the other day, how Shringi cursed Maharaj Parikshit because he was the uncultured son of a Brahmin. He had knowledge of how to curse, and he had some Brahminical something or other, Brahmatejas. But he didn't have the culture to know that this is not what I'm supposed to do. And rather he wanted to show off in front of his little friends, see how powerful I am. So these neophyte tendencies in a public arena where one shows one's stuff are so unfortunate, so unfortunate. And it's attended, anyway, I don't want to talk about the internet, you all know. Thank you. Anything else? Oh, there's a comment or two or three in the chat box, but Karuna, you're here in person.
These are great personalities, and I'm wondering how this cursing and counter-cursing affects, the whole way the material world is set up now.
There's no comment given about that. In one sense, when the people above us are fighting, then the advice is just keep your head down. That's the advice from the acharyas, that when seniors are in dispute, then the juniors just stay out of it. And in that way, they avoid getting pulled in and implicated and spun around. You see, the parents are arguing, then children, go to their rooms and wait for it to be over or something. Better not for them to argue, but somehow if they argue, then it's not good if the children get involved and start taking one side or the other side. Not good. So similarly, when senior devotees, acharyas even, have a difference of opinion, they comment from different angles. But if the neophyte devotee comes in and says, this one's wrong, that one's wrong, no, that's not at all good. But as juniors, all right, they're having a as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, all loving controversies. There are all loving controversies between the acharyas on various points. But the neophytes pick it up and want to make a thing of it. Find a cause célèbre. It's like this. No, it's like that. No, it's like this. No, it's like that. And bringing out their stuff, but so much in the mood of being the hero of the day, and that doesn't help us. But the advanced devotees will honor that. All right, acharyas have different opinions. We respect them all, and we may sign on to this view or that view, but it doesn't mean that the other acharyas are wrong. We may not see their point, or we may disagree with their view, but there are respectable superiors, and we don't take it upon ourselves to criticize them. Should we take some comments from the chat box? I can't read it, it's too small for me. So
Okay, Maharaj, I'll read, yes.
thank you.
Okay, so this one is from Ananta Shesha Prabhu. Wouldn't anger be beneficial during war?
Is anger beneficial during war? Yes, it is. Prabhupada cites the example of Hanuman, who set fire to Lanka. Prabhupada cites that as the example of how Kam and Krodha can be used. Kama, Krodha, Samarpane, I think, like that. But the meaning is that, yes, anger can be used against the enemies of the Lord, against the demons. That's sort of an encouraging, if we're going to encourage devotees to fight on the internet, fight with the demons. Why do we have to fight with the Vaishnavas? Fight with the demons. That's if you have a fighting propensity. But yes, the fighting can be used. And Krishna says Arjuna is asked to fight, and Prabhupada said he had to be angry, otherwise where's the fighting? So it's their duty. Yes. Okay.
Okay, next, Praveen Prabhu quotes some verses, I don't know where it's from, but If irresponsible person blasphemes the master, he should go away with block his ears. You have pretty much covered the whole thing. Then Tulsi Priya, thus he said, I have heard that we should not get involved in the arguments between God brothers who are peers to our guru. Is simply avoiding the person who criticizes our gurus the best way to deal with them, or should we carefully and politely defend them?
Best that we stay out of it. The best that we stay out of it. There may be, because God's peers can criticize one another. Of course, that should be done privately. But sometimes it so happens that there's some public difference of opinion or some public dispute between one respected person and another. But best for the juniors to stay out of these things. Otherwise, sometimes it may be necessary, but then very carefully. Main care is how to offer respect even to the disagreeing party. Otherwise, we can become implicated in too much trouble. Sometimes we think that we're, speaking out, we're defending the movement, or we're defending Prabhupada, and instead what we're doing is blaspheming devotees. Well, I can cite an example that there was a time after Prabhupada's departure when it was, some parties felt that Srila B.R. Sridhar Maharaj was somehow their enemy, or they had some difference of opinion with him. And one very senior ISKCON sannyasi went and was like, sort of telling it like it is to this very senior Vaishnava sannyasi. And finally, the Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, I humbly submit that you are offending me. I humbly submit that you are offending me. And then asked him, please go. And that sannyasi later fell down. It's not good at all. It's not good at all. This we should not do. We should be very much afraid of committing Vaishnava aparadhas. Prabhupada one time said, the problem with my students is they're not sufficiently afraid of Maya. Well, Maya comes in many forms. Maya comes in the form of lust. We're not sufficiently afraid of lust. We mingle and chit-chat and maybe give a nice welcome hug to someone of the opposite sex just to show that we're above material designations and prejudices, that we're sort of like, yeah, we're okay, we're not out of sync with the world. And then the next thing is you're very much in sync with the world. And then the next thing is you're down the drain. So we should be careful about lust, but we should also be careful about anger and greed. And especially we should be careful about anger toward Vaishnavas. It's not going to help us. If somehow we have to say something contrary, we should be so careful about that.
One letter short of danger, remember. Anger is one letter short of danger.
Yeah, anger is one letter short of danger. Even Arjuna, he has to fight with Bhishma and Drona, but first he offers them all respect. Yes?
Yeah, but what if the Vaishnava is committed some really bad stuff, and then, isn't it just natural to feel anger towards them?
What if a Vaishnava has committed some really bad stuff, and it's natural to feel anger toward him? Yeah. That is natural. Still, we should be so careful. Not that we shouldn't be dutiful. Oh, you're doing every kind of rubbish, and you put the lives of vulnerable people at risk. But because you're a Vaishnava, we don't say anything, we don't do anything. We just respect that, Vaishnavas are very dear to the Lord and so on. Vaishnavas may be very dear to the Lord, but not that a Vaishnava, that becomes like a ticket to exploiting innocent people, defenseless people, vulnerable people. That's atrocious. That should not be allowed. At the same time, we have in the Bible, hate the sin rather than the sinner. So it's hard when people who are supposed to be Vaishnavas commit sinful activities. And still we're advised to see them in relationship to Krishna. So what is that? So somehow we have to try to control our anger, which doesn't mean that then we become namby-pamby and tolerant. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says tolerant like a tree, that means when we're offended, but not that when others are offended or abused, we become tolerant like trees. We should be like trees that have a branch pulled off to bang someone over the head. Not that part of the tree. But still, we should be so careful about these things. We get on a roll and we start picking up mundane ideas like zero tolerance. And we become, we depart from the Vaishnava understanding and Vaishnava way of life. And even, by the way, from the best of what the materialists understand. We hear a slogan that sounds really good and that looks really good on a banner, and don't realize that when you work out the details of it, it doesn't work. That it looks good, it sounds good, and it's counterproductive, even from a materialistic point of view. And especially when the slogan is contrary to what Krishna says, then it will never lead to happiness. It will never lead to perfection. It will never lead to going back to Godhead. When it's contrary to Shastra, then what is that? Ye Shastra vidimutsrijya vartate kamakarta nasa siddhim avapnoti nasukham paramgachem. If we act according to our feelings, and our feelings are not in line with the statements of Shastra, then that will not lead to a good outcome. Shastra pramanante karya karya vivastato gyatva shastra vidhanoktam karma karta viharasi. One should know what to do and what not to do from the statements of Shastra and act accordingly as a matter of duty. Sometimes duty is that I have to oppose even a person who's near and dear to me. But I do it because it's my duty. Or sometimes I have to excuse even a person who appears terrible. Kali, Maharaj Parikshit, as a matter of duty. The rogue has surrendered. All right, I have to give him something. I have to give him something. Why? It's my duty. So these things get complicated. Therefore, first of all, we're all made to promise, yes, I'll follow these 4 regulations. No gambling, no intoxicants, no meat eating, no illicit sex. It's not just some moral instruction, but it's crucial guidance for us so that we don't screw up our lives or screw up other people's lives. These are the basic principles. Where does Kali reside? Dyutam panam striyam sunam yatra dharma chaturvida. These 4 places where there's a dharma, where there's gambling, where there's intoxicants, where there's meat eating, and where there's illicit sex. Therefore, we're made to promise, yes, strictly I'll follow these regulative principles. That even from a managerial point of view, Srila Prabhupada once wrote to Sridhananda Maharaj, when he was fairly new GBC man, that you just get everyone following these 4 regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds, see to that, and management is at your fingertips. When people are following 2 rules, 1 rule, 4 rounds, 8 rounds, management becomes difficult because our consciousness is not to the standard of purity. But when everyone is following these 4 rules, chanting Hare Krishna, then management's easy because everyone becomes spiritually enlivened, spiritually enthusiastic. These simple things are so crucial. No intoxicants, no gambling, no meat eating, no illicit sex, and chanting our prescribed number of rounds every day. Prabhupada said, you just do that, I guarantee you'll go back to Godhead. And if we don't, then every kind of problem comes up. So of course we can't ensure that everyone will follow these rules. It's not in our power. And for those who do become contaminated and so on, then we can't be lackadaisical or inappropriately tolerant. But we still need to be so careful to do things according to Vaishnava principles and not according to what we think will be the right thing to do. The right thing to do is what Krishna says is the right thing to do, not what we think. There's some more comments there.
Yes, next Saraswati Mata said, Pranam Param Puja Maharaj. I read in Caitanya-caritamrta, Adi Lila. In fact, however, a bona fide Acharya is not different from the personality of Godhead. And therefore, to envy such an Acharya is to envy the personality of Godhead himself. This will produce an effect subversive of transcendental realization.
Excuse
Lord
me?
Shiva is an Acharya too. So all those who remain silent are
All those who do what?
remain silent
Remain
are
silent.
complicit in an insult. So isn't Nandeshwar a Vaishnava follower who is cursing to rectify the
He's not a
offensive
Vaishnava.
mentality of the direct and indirect offenders? Some curses are beneficial, as Narad Muni also cursed some son of Kuvera for their benefits.
Yes, sometimes cursing is beneficial. Those curses should come, of course. A curse can come from anywhere and be beneficial. The Duryodhana insulted Vidura. He should be beaten within an inch of his life, just so that his breath is left, and he should be tossed out because he's always been our enemy. So, but Vidura, as a pure devotee, took it, yes, good. What do I want to be here with you? Let me get free from this palace politics and become purified. So for a devotee, even a curse is a blessing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was cursed by a Brahmin. He took out his thread and cursed him. May you have no material happiness. So it's a blessing. For a devotee, everything becomes fortunate. But yes, and let's see.
Tulsi Priya Mataji said, my question has been answered. She is happy with that. Thank you.
Was there another question?
And that's all, Maharaj.
Okay. And one here. Yes,
Oh, no, I withdraw my question.
you withdraw your
Yeah,
question.
this topic has been nice.
The question has been withdrawn.
Are these curses between Daksha's followers and Shiva's followers also blessings?
Are they blessings, these curses between Daksha's followers and Shiva's? Well, they're blessings for us because we're instructed by these, by all of this whole incident. Such an instructive section of Srimad Bhagavatam. We're just coming to it, in the usual line of reading day after day, but it's always relevant. We get in so much difficulty by insulting the Vaishnavas. That I was reading, well, maybe I'll pull it out and read it, we have enough time. I was reading today in a different context from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We happened to be discussing, I know how I get to it. Vishwanath. This is his commentary, which some people are not very happy about, but what can we do? To 9:30, Apichet Sudaracharo Bhajate Mamananyapad Sadhureva Samantavya Samyak Vyasito Hisa. Even if the most sinful person worships me with no other desire than to please me, I consider that person to be my devotee, since he has fixed himself completely in me. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, he begins by paraphrasing, my attachment to my devotee is my very nature. That attachment does not decrease even if the devotee commits wrong, for I make him come up to the highest standard. If someone with bad conduct, addicted to violence, thievery, or adultery, sudurachar, very bad behavior, worships me and worships no one except me, and does not follow any other process, like karma or gyan, and has no other desire than my desire, Ananya Bhak. He is my devotee, sadhu. But considering his bad conduct, how is he a devotee? He is to be respected, mantavya, as a devotee because of his devotee qualities. It is a command. Not doing so is an offense. My order is, Hare Krishna, my order is the authority. So, he should be considered a devotee in that portion where he worships you, and as a non-devotee in that portion where he commits adultery? No. He should be considered a devotee, eva, in all his parts. You should not see his bad qualities at all. He's completely convinced, samyak vyavasita. He makes a splendid resolution. I will go to hell for my sinful actions, which are hard to give up, but I will not give up dedicated worship of Krishna. And then there's 31. Kripram bhavati dharmatma shashvach chantim nikachchati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Very quickly he becomes a righteous person and becomes completely devoid of contamination. O son of Kunti, please declare that my devotee never perishes. Commentary. How can you accept the worship of such a sinful person? How can you eat the food and drink offered by a heart contaminated with lust and anger? Very quickly, he becomes righteous. The present is used, and not the future, to express the fact that having committed sin, by remembering the Lord, he becomes repentant, and thus very quickly becomes righteous. Oh, how unfortunate I am. There's no one as low as I, bringing bad name to the devotees. Repeatedly, Shashvat, he feels completely disgusted with his actions. Or the use of the present tense can indicate that in the future he will develop righteousness fully. But even right now, it exists in a subtle form. After taking medicine, though the destructive effects of fever or poison remain for some time, it is not considered a serious condition. Thus, with the entrance of bhakti in his mind, the sinful actions are not taken seriously, and the traces of sin, such as lust and anger, should be considered insignificant. Like the biting of a toothless snake. Thus he attains complete cessation of lust and anger permanently, shashvat. This means that even during the stage of having tendency to commit sin, he has a pure heart. If he eventually becomes righteous, there would be no argument. However, a devotee is sinful right up to his death. If a devotee is sinful right up to his death, what's his position? The Lord, affectionate to his devotees, then speaks loudly with a little anger. O son of Kunti, my devotee is not destroyed. At the time of death, he does not fall to a lower position. But arguers with harsh tongues will not respect this. And Krishna then encourages the worried, lamenting Arjuna, "O Kaunteya, going to the squabbling assembly with a tumultuous sound of drums, throwing your hands in the air, you should fearlessly declare this." Declare what? Declare that my devotee, the devotee of the Supreme Lord, though committing sin, does not perish, but rather reaches success. Arguments defeated, pride deflated, they should undoubtedly respect you as a guru. This is Sridhar Swami's explanation. There's a little more, but that's to the point. And we're just about out of time, I'm afraid, but one question. Yes?
It's all right.
Yes?
I don't know how you like this. I might suggest that someone who's Sudurachar, that accepting them as a devotee, respecting them as a devotee, giving them all facility as a devotee, is not exactly the same thing as that person having position XYZ, position ABC within the community of devotees.
Yeah, that may be.
There's like Jaga.
That we may respect a person and consider him a devotee and so on, but we may not give him position XYZ or what have you. Yeah, that's to be carefully considered. But sometimes there's a famous incident. There was of course this wasn't sinful activity, which is in a different category, but there was in Detroit, we had our temple president, Govardhan Prabhu,
Yes.
and he was the one really who brought Ambarish and Lekha Shravanti together and arranged for the purchase of that Detroit property and so on. Yeah, you know the story. So, but the devotees felt that he wasn't to the standard. He wasn't chanting his rounds. He was not attending programs, I suppose. And so they held a meeting and they changed the president. They voted him out and voted in someone else. And then sometime later, Prabhupada came to Detroit and asked about that devotee. And the devotees explained that, we've replaced him with this person because he's not chanting his round. But how do you know? And turned it back on them, began, criticizing them.
How do I know you're chanting over?
How do I know that you're chanting? And then Prabhupada said, he has gotten this place, and now he has gone away disappointed. And he reinstated him. Prabhupada reinstated him, just reversed everything they'd done for their very good reasons and didn't want to hear it. So, yes, what you say is true, and then there's also the other side of it. So these things have to be considered so carefully. All right, now we have gone over. I recognize that I've read a purport which deserves at least
Further.
an hour or two of further discussion, and I apologize for that. And you, for example, you brought up a very valid point, and all such points deserve further consideration. It's not such a simple thing. Dharmasya tattvam vihitam guhayam. And the laws of Dharma are kept very carefully by the Lord in his own heart, and therefore Mahajanayena Kata Sampanta. We have to follow the Mahajans. So then the question, well, what do the Mahajans do? What is their example? So it's a long discussion. Kirtan is easier. And now is the time for Kirtan. So we can have, well, Panchatattva Prabhu, you're part of the program. Why don't you tell what will happen next?
Some kirtan, then prasadam.
Okay, Kirtan, and for those who are here, prasadam. And Kirtan will go beyond 8 o'clock because it's already 8 o'clock. And but we'll continue broadcasting from here, and those who want to stay can stay, and those who have to go can go on Zoom. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mahesh Pandit.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Jai Om Vishnuvad Punamanasupati Prajapacharya Go to the Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Ananta Kahosh Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Maharaj, and all glories to the Alachua Kirtan All-Star Band. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.